Welcome back to the most recent installment of the Mecca of Banter. Today is July 8th, and we are here to talk about footy. Shocker. Did you guys know that? You tuned into the right place. A lot happening in the world of football. Some good, some bad. A lot of bad, frankly, for me. But some of the more electric summer tournaments, international things going on. And I'm here with my friends. Check in. Nick Hafey, how we doing, brother?
No, we're doing good. Like me and Dobes were talking earlier, my football content of late, besides Euros and all international things, is watching 19-year-old Brazilians on YouTube when it pops up as a rumor that Chelsea possibly might sign them. So that's been fun. Besides that, I also wasn't here for the Carnell Out podcast, so happy that happened. But also pumped to talk about some of the other things that are going on in the footy world, as always. And you can find me on Twitter at Hafey4. I'm about to get a little active on that thing.
It's such an odd space of football fandom, is watching children from Brazil, and highlight tapes from Grêmio or wherever the hell these guys are coming from.
The worst now is I'm at an age where they're way younger than me, and it really hurts. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, way younger and way more talented than we will ever be. So we never got scouted by Chelsea, and that's why we are talking heads on a podcast. So, Dobes, always happy to have you. What's going on, man?
What's going on, fellas? Just like Nikki, I missed last week, so happy to be back. I mean, yeah, fellas, we talked about it before the summer started that there was actually sort of a ton of footy going on, and I will say between transfer rumors, between St. Louis City, between the Euros and the Copa, I'm still definitely getting my fix. And I gotta say for Hen, it's a great day to be Manchester United fans. All I'm gonna say is that Ineos are cooking right now. Ineos are cooking. So I'm happy to be here, but we'll still talk City. Well, we can save the United stuff for later. And I do want to mention Carnell again, because I, of course, was not here for that episode. And we called that one months ago, fellas. So let's clap it up for ourselves, fellas. We spoke that one into existence.
We used to say Carnell was listening. I actually think Lutz is listening, so that's
so. Maybe. The ball watching guys gave us a shout on their immediate reaction post, so shout out to them as well. We were first on the scene for that one. I'm more than happy to flex
maybe
that one.
Maybe too early, but definitely first.
Maybe too early.
Here, I'm pretty sure.
we had guys on our YouTube comments like this type of comment's gonna get you clicks, but you can't actually think that. Like, yeah, blow hard, get out of here. We know ball. And Hoov, your host, Young Yid here. I always forget to introduce myself. That's pretty standard these days. But, ladies and gentlemen, did you know it is Smooth Sack Summer? It's officially upon us. My pleasure to announce it. When you are playing in the summer sun, make sure you're groomed from pubes to bum. Thanks to our friends over at Manscaped, you can make this season your smoothest yet. The Performance Package 5.0 Ultra is the ultimate bundle to keep your boys downstairs cool while looking hot. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. 20% off and free shipping when you go to manscaped.com and use the code Mecca20 at checkout. Again, that is Mecca20. Checkout, free shipping, 20% off. Can't get much better than that. It is summertime and the trimming is easy, boys. We will forever beat that. Big ball deodorant, guys. I triple down on it every single time that this comes up.
I think I've ordered 3 more bottles.
It's become a revelation. At this point, we should just ask them for that. Be like, hey, we don't even need money. We just want loads of ball deodorant.
Every couple months, just show them.
Yeah, just run up with boxers and ball deodorant. Those have been the big ones for the Mecca lads, that's no doubt. So going back into the episode, we got to talk about St. Louis City. Obviously, last week we covered Carnell Out, and kind of what we felt was going to, look like going forward. And on Wednesday, we saw a very real new manager bounce. We saw exactly what I think all of us would expect to see out of the firing of a manager. And these guys really do look fired up under Hackworth. Now, obviously, that was short lived, but Wednesday was super fun. Wednesday was like we left the stadium and we're having fun. I went to Maggie's and had some drinks, and we were all happy, and we were just watching Hackworth up on TV, fist pump into the south stand or into the north stand like that. That was awesome, and that's what we wanted. What did you guys see out of individual performances, the overall look? What was different? How did it go for you guys?
Individual performances, I want to touch on him early because I think not only in this game but in the game that we played last night as well, I think he's been playing well, and he also got his first start, which is Johnny Klein. I think he's been a great impact into our team. I love the way he plays. He's very direct. He likes to take people on. He's in the right spots. His effort is incredible. So I've definitely loved the resurgence he's kind of brought. Unfortunately, the result the second half, but during this game, I thought he played really well, and I was super excited to see him get a start. I also thought it was also cool that Kojima finally got on the score sheet, and that he had a good performance that finally showed with a goal, and him having that will greatly benefit his confidence moving forward. So I'm pumped for him. But yeah, those were the two big ones for me.
This is one of those games where I think, how do I put this politically correct? With the Euros and the Copa going on, let's just say I've been a very mad guy when it comes to watching and experiencing these games. Let's just say that way. When we fired Carnell and we were playing San Jose, I became a very happy guy. Let's just say I made everything that I may have been mad about back on that game. So that was like the biggest lock of the century, fellas. Like there was no way that we were going into that game and losing that game. And San Jose was terrible, but I think that's one of those where as a fan base, we just wanted to see a W. We wanted to see something different, maybe us play better soccer. And it turns out that like we do have some guys on our team that can play a little bit possession based. Yes, San Jose was terrible and kind of let us have the ball, but we did see good spurts where Lowen and Klein finding those pockets. And I won't say Thor had like a terrible game, but like he did a lot of running, so there was something there. And then the combination of Kojima and, Reed, like some of these young guys are sort of stepped up in that first game against San Jose. And, especially seeing that sort of happen at home and seeing Johnny Klein, like I know a bunch of us were at the game. It was a cool experience. And truthfully, like I was sitting down low, so I don't exactly have like tactical like details on this one. But I just know that kind of seemed like the fan base needed that just to kind of like reset a little bit. And then Sunday happened. So, at least we got to live that for a few days.
Yeah, Sunday, we'll have to hit on it, obviously. But my takeaways were, tactically, it's hard to put a thumb down on it because San Jose were terrible. San Jose were really bad. They are the worst team in the league. They were as bad as Chicago when Chicago was here. Like, those are the two teams that stick out to me. I was like, man, they were really not good. And truthfully, dude, like, Thorison's our only attacking option at the moment, besides Sam, who really hasn't been training with the team and has just been frozen out by Carnell. If he had a touch of an ounce of class to him, he could have had a hat trick, easy. He had one 6 yards out that he bounced over the bar.
His runs though, like he does the athletic.
They were great.
You know what I mean? Yes. It was like he did like lost a defender and found a good spot, and the ball came to him, and he just like his brain shuts off.
I tweeted this last night watching it, but everything he does is in slow motion. And it's not that he's doing bad things; it's just all so slow. His finishing ability, frankly, if you look at his goal scoring track record across his career, we're not talking about a prolific goal scorer. Yeah. Like we're not talking about a guy who's been in the mix at, everywhere. He's been at Bierstadt and, U21s. It's not really been his thing. So relying on him is a bummer, but I agree. I will eat my words if he comes back and scores a hat trick at some point. I'm happy to do that. I want him to do well. We've not seen anything that tells me that he's the guy going forward. I think more minutes in his legs has been positive. We've seen so much more positive movement out of him since he has been getting these run of games. But it's just not, it's just not been awesome. We're missing everybody else we had up top desperately. My revelation is Jay Reed.
100%.
This kid,
Yep.
this kid is what you want out of a left back. He is a dog, both sides of the ball, and in both games, he was the only bright spot for me on Sunday. Like, he genuinely up and back. He can shake a defender and find a cross. He's been putting in good crosses. He found Johnny Klein's 5-5 ass for a headed goal. Like,
the little stutter step, one touch, two. Yeah, to get by him.
Oh, disgusting. And he was intercepting passes. I couldn't be more gassed for the kid. Obviously, we love seeing young guys get, call-ups. This one, he has rightfully deserved the call-up and the left-sided, defensive position. Like, Markanich isn't doing what he's doing. And, Akil Watts out of position isn't doing what he's doing. Like, we're obviously hindered in that area. But, like, this one, seriously, to me, has been such a just breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
To have a competent left back in. And again, I don't have any issues with Markanich either. He's just not that guy. He was never meant to be that guy. And I don't think Jaden Reed's supposed to be either, but he's doing better.
Yeah.
So that's absolutely what I feel. He was so great.
You kind of do too. I don't know, you probably saw the clip of Hackworth after the San Jose game where he was like very candidly like, yeah, I want to sign Jay Reed. Like, yep, I want to sign him. And then sure enough, he started, and he deserved.
Yeah, it was deserved. And outside of some poor keeping, mistakes on San Jose's end, there wasn't a lot that we can, mention that was poor. Poor finishing from Thorson, but we have plenty to mention that was poor yesterday. And frankly, like, I don't know how far we want to get into it because this one, Hackworth is blameless. To a certain degree, this guy really can't carry the weight of, a 4-1 loss on the road with the team that he had to put out. Like, we had to give Totland a rest. The guy's just been beat to death 90 minutes over and over and over.
That's the most worrying thing for me out of this is that Totland needs to be on the pitch.
Yeah, we're just clearly so much better with him on the field. And Watts just wasn't able to get stuck into it, really.
Wenzel was atrocious.
And that one hurts because we've seen some pretty positive stuff from him.
He earned the call-up and then didn't exactly back it up against Colorado. But he's had good games.
Has been playing well, but he played like a
Sunday just wasn't one.
Yeah.
No, Sunday wasn't his game. And it wasn't Tim Parker's, frankly. Like,
I've been on the Tim Parker's,
It's like without the guys that we had. So we had 7 starters not available for this game. We fielded a glorified City 2 team. And without Lowen, brother, we are nothing. The disconnect between the back line to anywhere else.
That's my biggest frustration going into this. And it's like some of the goals and some of the defensive errors are like mental lapses that are terrible. I know Henry on our Twitter today did a great deep dive into it. But to me, the more frustrating thing I think we have with this team is like you have moments like Wednesday night where regardless of who the opponent is, like we see good moments with certain guys on the field. But not once, and it seems like forever, have we seen what I would probably say is our best 11, and I don't even know how long. So it's like the moment that, and I wasn't even worried about our back four necessarily. I know Reed can do a job. We've seen Watts do a job. Like I was a little bit more confident. But then when you see the midfield three of second MLS game, Klein, and then Durkin and Blom, who we both know are not exactly the can progress the ball at all through the lines. It's like, how are we going to get forward? And so I think that was the more concerning thing to me is both have their own really great qualities, but you need a Lowen in there to balance them out, to be able to receive the ball, find Klein, break the lines. And we just missed that. Like credit to Jay Reed and Klein for getting us back into that game quickly, but it didn't last long before Colorado just had more quality all over the field. And we had a rotated back four of Jay Reed's never played next to Tim Parker and Wenzel. You know what I mean? Jay Reed's never played with, going to what's the backup goalie's name? With Berkey going out, what's our backup's name?
Lunt.
Benjamin. Yeah, with one going out. It's just, you could see that it was disjointed. And that's just the lack of these guys having game reps together. And then when you play against a halfway decent side, you can get burned no matter if you can score or not. So, hey, but at the same time, hey, we got our goals right, fellas. That's our first time we've got our goal prediction right. In
a long time. Absolutely. We did guess one goal. My prediction to the group was a 1-1 draw as a best case scenario. And that, clearly didn't play out. But, and I think there's a little bit of blame that we can take off of Carnell. When you look at a game like this, Carnell wasn't doing anything either that was going to change how we were going to get a result here. We are so hampered on players right now that July 18th can't come fast enough. We don't have...
Thursday.
Yeah. We don't have strikers. We don't have strikers. We're missing our best defender. We're missing our best midfielder. And now we may be missing the keeper of the year, the MLS All-Star.
Back spasms, wasn't it? I think that's what I saw today.
Back spasms on the first kick of the game. And not to add insult to injury, and again, we're just an absolutely 100% speculative position here. We have no inside information on anything. Berkey's Turkeys on Twitter, good Twitter account, like that guy. He brings a lot of the same energy we do.
Yeah.
He said that someone said that Berkey wants to go play in California. And while I believe a little bit of that would hurt for sure. He's literally just pulled our ass out of so many games this year. And then, watching Lunt get slotted between his legs from a terrible angle on the fourth goal is yeah, he's probably not the backup for the future. We haven't seen him a ton. Obviously, it's not like I have a ton of sample size to base that on. But how do we recreate Berkey's impact? It's impossible.
He and rightfully so, just like us, is frustrated with what's going on in front of him, because when we've lost, he's just been left out to dry.
Yeah.
Time and time and time and time again. And for a guy with his pedigree and where he's played and how he's played, think about that. Playing at the highest level, no matter the sport, you play at the highest level, and all of a sudden you're conceding goals at will, and the players in front of you aren't performing. It's the guy's frustrated, and I don't think you can blame him. That's one of those where I bet you he stays around for the end of this year. But if we don't sign some more players, or the guys we've brought in don't make an instant impact, can you blame the guy?
Nope.
He's not in St. Louis, Missouri to finish bottom of the conference. And yes, it's 1 year, but at the same time, Berkey can kind of do what he wants, which is the unfortunate part of all this.
Yeah, he really can. And in an MLS climate to where, he's very clearly been one of the best keepers the last 2 years, he could go anywhere. Anyone outside of LAFC with Hugo, or Colorado with Stefan, I guess.
Yeah.
Couple of those guys are dogs, but he could pretty much take anything he wants and be on a better team immediately. So I genuinely,
if we're not winning, I think he's gone.
I think so too. I think that's my number one concern with this year is his status on the team next year, because you're right. Why would he want to stick around and finish last in the conference? He had a lot of fun last year. It was awesome. Everybody had a lot of fun last year. When you don't keep that up as I'm going to call ourselves a small mid-market team, lowest payroll in the league. If you don't do some of that, you're going to lose some of your best talent if you don't address it. So that's my number one concern. And seriously, we said this weeks ago. Any points that we grabbed up until July 18th were going to be positive. So we grabbed 3 on Wednesday. We moved up a spot on the table. Kansas City did us a favor and beat Dallas, who's right above us. There's a world where we make the playoffs. We just have to perform so much better, and it's going to come from the guys that we, signed this year.
What do you guys, and this is kind of on that topic, but not on that topic. I think the biggest confusion right now, and I guess it's been because of his relationship with Carnell, but Sam, Like I don't know, man, because it's like he's I don't want to say 10 times the player that Thor is, but definitely way more impactful than Thor is. And like at some point, like if he's going to be on our bench, like if we want to win, I think he's our best chance to win. And I don't know if that's one of those where they are trying to get rid of him and limit his minutes, or he's burned so many relationships that he's limiting his minutes, but like we have no other options that he's got to be on the bench. But to me, I'm kind of like, if I'm Hackworth sitting there, like if I want to win games, like Sam is a much better option than Thor to play, even if he's a little bit selfish, no matter what you say. I think that's frustrating to me is the fact that like he's coming on at 59th minute when the score is already what the score is. And it's like, why not play him from the jump in both games?
I completely agree with you, and I think he's 100% a better replacement than Thor. But
I mean, that's not saying much, but you know what I mean?
Not
Like
at all. But I also
levels.
I was gonna say, like, his performance against Colorado when he came on was awful. Like, he couldn't pass it to an open man to save his life. Like, I do agree with you. He was thrown into a situation where he probably had to be a little bit more selfish, or his ego thought he had to be a little bit more selfish. But like, he's not putting in performances to where like he deserves to be getting more minutes. But like, I agree with you, with what we have, he's definitely our better option of what.
I just don't know what it is, you know. Like I genuinely don't. Like it's so weird that we still know nothing. To where it's just like he's linked with the move, but I don't know.
He scored 8 goals in like half a season last year. So
Yeah.
like at the end of the day, you should expect some sort of output. And I think, it was the same way that we kind of talk about Thorson. When you don't get a run of games, you get rusty. That is what it is. You lose the touch for a little bit, and it takes more, real clock to kind of get some of that form back. I think that he was out for so long under Carnell and their, with their little headbutting hissy fit, that he lost a lot of that. But from my point of view, and this may be like a FIFA manager career point of view, if you're going to sell the guy, like, and if you're planning on, at the end of the day, if we're going to get rid of him, we're bringing in a bunch of new attackers. You want him on the score sheet. You want to be able to market the guy better to be able to pull some sort of transfer value back. Like, if that's really the plan, he's out of contract next January. So it pretty much has to be this summer or end of the season. Like, I don't know what the front office thought process is on that either, because we need goals now. Thorson's not providing those goals now. I agree. I think you start Sam no matter what. And if it, goes the wayside, then you play Thor. Fine, whatever, that's cool. But for them to just, I'm just hoping that this is him getting up to speed. Like, he's not played a ton this year. He's come off of the bench a bunch. I'd love to see him start next week.
I think he does start.
And strikers to a certain degree have to be selfish. Like the positions that he found himself in on Sunday, you can't be, because you've got another runner or you've got a teammate making, it got better space. So that's disappointing from the, game standpoint. But that's what I want my number 9. I want my number 9 to want to get bad goals. So, I'm hoping that we see more of him, and I'm hoping that he can help us in the short term. Because truthfully, I don't see a long term with him here. I think the ego thing is pretty evident at this point. He, was not happy with his role after scoring 8 goals last year. But in the same year that he played in USL on a loan, like, his ego has just jumped from 0 to 100 in 12 months. So that's not the type of guy that loots recruits, frankly. I don't think that's the type of guy that we, build the squad around. But short term, we need something out of him for sure. So
before we move on from St. Louis City, you literally just said it, and it reminded me, and I wanted to bring it up. Someone who we do have on loan, and I was actually pumped that he was going on loan, was Miggy Perez. And I went and watched a Birmingham Legion game over the weekend because it happened to be, on YouTube TV, and it was the only thing that I had to watch at the time. And I didn't see Miggy anywhere on the pitch. Not once. So then it begged the question, where has he been? So I went up and looked up his stats. He has 0 minutes for Birmingham Legion and has been riding the bench. So that is not great. Don't love that at all.
Don't love that, and especially in a scenario where we have no center midfielders. We have no, like, we're right now. This is a time where if he was getting some good clock, had some good performances, good minutes in the legs, this is maybe where you recall a loan to be able to, support yourself through the middle of the park. That's
Zero
just
minutes.
not. So, I don't know who you blame on that. I don't know if that's I think everyone was under the impression that he was a very capable USL level player. He would get minutes. I didn't expect him to start and absolutely torch it, but I definitely hoped that he was going to play, like, in itself.
Oh, I agree. I was expecting to turn that game on and be like, oh, I'm going to watch Miggy for like 45 minutes to an hour. Nope, didn't see him once.
Nope. St. Louis takes on Vancouver this weekend at home in, another tough battle. Everyone we play at this point's tough battle because we're bad, we have no players, and we're bottom of the table. So, everyone's coming to City Park licking their chops these days, and it's not really the fortress that
show off in front of the crowd.
Yes, it's not looking great.
I was going to ask about Lewin. FotMob has him as early August. Again, this also has Celio as late July. So
okay, well, Celio's leg fell off, so we can.
I don't know how accurate this is, but this is just what FotMob has right now.
Yeah, I hate it.
Truthfully, if Lewin is playing, like, that gives me a ton more hope because I think he'll be a little bit more creative going forward. And if not, we're just so limited in options in there that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he's back this weekend, and then next Thursday we get some studs. Apparently, hopefully,
awesome straight in.
Dude, I know. I guess Cedric's been on an extreme fitness regimen over the last 2 weeks to be able to literally get him in day one. So we, I think Heckworth said that we will see the new guys in the Leagues Cup no matter what. I won't be at the stadium, but I'll probably throw it on to be able to watch them a little bit. I'm boycotting it, kinda. Wink, wink.
Totally just watching the replay.
Yeah. I just want to see how these guys look at the end of the day. I need to know. But yeah, back in action Saturday. Please, God, just help us all out and look a little bit better. Thank you very much. And, awesome transition into yet another team that just shatters me personally.
It needs to sack their coach.
And here we are again, boys. This should just be the Mecca of sackings because
this episode might be because we got England later too. I mean, we can just keep going.
All we do is just scream for coaches out. The United States men's national team.
Some of us are.
Well, I was just about to say. I mean, Chelsea of the last 5 years. What do you expect from me? I'm fucking cutthroat as shit. Get the fuck out.
Oh. We lost 1-0 to Uruguay. In the manner at which we did so was also disappointing. And I'm not going to sit here and beat the Copa is corrupt drum. I could. Don't get me wrong, I could. It definitely is to some degree.
Yeah.
And in no world is that guy not offsides on the Uruguayan goal. Don't understand that in the slightest. They're drawing sideways lines out here for VAR and stuff, bro. They don't have goal line technology.
On the pitch.
Yeah, with parallel lines on the pitch. We don't have goal line technology, which the MLS doesn't either. Poverty league.
Unbelievable.
So where do we go from here? We didn't do anything till the last 10 minutes. Bielsa said that outright. He's like, I didn't matter that I wasn't on the touchline. The United States didn't even start playing until 10 minutes left. What went wrong? What was the plan? Was the team weak? Is there a lack of mentality? We all want Berhalter out. That you don't get grouped from a weak group in the Copa America and keep your job, in my personal opinion. But what do we do? From where do we go here?
I mean, truthfully, this is what we have seen from a Greg Berhalter U.S. men's national team against anybody that's halfway decent. Like, truthfully, like, I know I saw on Twitter that, and not blaming it on Timmy not being there, but Weah being out. But if you look at our 11, like, that 11 is still like a very solid 11 that hasn't like the entire 11 is playing in Europe and should be able to play decent in this game. And instead, it was sort of one of those where we did have some bright moments, I guess, if you want to say that, but there was no doubt almost from 10 minutes on that like Uruguay was the better team, and it was kind of a matter of time until they at least got one. And I think that's one of those where when you see Berhalter on the sidelines, showing 1-1, the score of the other game of the Bolivia Panama game, it's like at that point, I don't want those guys to go through. Like I truthfully don't. I know that sounds bad. And leading up to the game, I know I was texting Hoove, being like, all right, fuck it. Like, we got this. Of course, I want us to win. I want us to, like, make a statement. That doesn't mean I don't want Berhalter fired, but obviously I want us to win. But when you see the 1-1 shit, it's kind of like, what the fuck are we doing here? It's like that's a mentality thing that, like, goes through the entire locker room to the players. It's like, that should never be mentioned. Go out and take care of your fucking job and then worry about the rest later. And that's what you see, is that there's too much complacency from these guys relying on, things that are out of their control. And that starts with Greg. It's nothing that we haven't said before. I think we all said it. If we didn't get out of the group, he needs to go. And I truthfully think that's what we're going to see. So it may be a win in disguise, to be honest.
I'm completely on that train, Dobes. Like, that is the only positive I'm really taking from this, is hopefully Greg loses his job. To be fair, I'm pissed it didn't happen literally like the next day. Like, I really
in the tunnel.
Yes. Like,
Don't even let him get on the bus.
Immediately that like Greg had been let go. I also think the mistake wasn't in necessarily, like, I thought we played okay against Uruguay, because you have to think they're in the semifinal right now, and like they're a really good side. We fucked up against Panama.
They're
that is where we screwed, and we put ourselves in a situation that we had to get a result against a side that we probably couldn't get a result against. And that goes down to Greg so wholeheartedly because of how he treated the game before, to then make this game the most important game of the tournament. And not only that, to then have the mentality to be looking at the other game. I absolutely hate him, and I want him fired immediately. Like, oh, he's so bad.
I've had enough time on Twitter this week that I've had a change of emotion on, top to bottom. Everyone's melted down top to bottom on the federation itself. And this is a federation problem. This is a lack of desire, a lack of trajectory, a lack of potential, a lack of what you want out of this team going forward. We're hosting the World Cup in 2 years. We're hosting the World Cup in 2 years. We have the best, talent-wise on paper, the best United States men's national team that we've ever seen, with guys playing at AC Milan, guys playing at Inter, guys playing at, name it. We've got cats all over the world playing at really strong clubs.
First time we had like 3 people in the Champions League, or 4 people in the Champions League.
Yeah, something like that. And CP was playing well, and Tyler Adams got hurt, but Tyler Adams deserves to be where he's at. And Weston McKennie has a pretty solid year for Juve, and all these things added up. You don't get another chance at this. You don't get another chance in your home country at a World Cup. These guys will not see that ever again.
The biggest sporting event in the history of the world. Legitimately, it will be, just because of the technology, the United States. Like, it's going to be.
For the United States Soccer Federation to look at this team, the body of work from Berhalter, and what we can achieve, and think that he's the guy to do it, is absolutely insane.
How deep do we want to go?
It is It's a everyone top down. The top 10 positions of the federation should be fired into the sun.
Yep.
If they think Greg Berhalter should stay, because that was my number one fear, was that we lose this game, Greg keeps his job 2 more years, next cycle, no problem. The boys love him. The guys think he's great. They're all buddy-buddy. They've got some stupid little leadership panel that kicked off John Brooks, apparently. That's a Berhalter problem. And they're all happy with him because they know their spot's already booked for the World Cup. They know they're going to be on that team.
That to me is literally the biggest issue. Is you're so right about everything, but I think at the same time, when you look at the Euros and the Copa that's going on, like if you look at France, or I know we hate Southgate, but if you look at the players that are being left off of those rosters for France, for England, Marcus Rashford, Jack Grealish. But that creates competition for your performances in the league to matter. For when you show up to camp, you have to show up and ball out. It's the same thing goes with Brazil and Argentina. It's the commercial side is almost so much more important in the United States than the footballing side. It was like, let the money people go run the money and create football people on the football side to make as competitive as it can possibly be. Because right now, so many of these guys, I'm not saying they don't want to win, they don't care, but you're so right that those guys know they're going to be there. Like they know that they're going to start. And that is not a great place to be. Like I don't like Carly Lloyd. I think her takes have been terrible. But the one thing she did say is when she was talking about, I think it was Pulisic who said he was comfortable with Greg. That's a problem. Like that's a problem, in and of itself. And I know Tim Ream, I don't know the exact quote after the game, said something along the lines of like, if we get complacent, like we're not really going to go places. I'm paraphrasing, but like that's exactly it. Like he's an older veteran. He's 35 years old plus, like guy that has been around the block, and he can recognize that. And so that's why, truthfully, I think we need to bring in a Jurgen Klopp or truthfully somebody that we don't even fucking know.
Yeah.
To say, I'm coming in to coach like the game. Whatever happens around me, give me the tools to get something out of this team, no matter what players he decides to be. And then that creates an environment for winning. Because right now it's like, it is the golden generation, but we're just wasting it. We're literally wasting it right in front of our eyes.
We just wasted 2 years right there. Like
100%. 100%.
The Copa for us should have been not only like, are we trying to do well in the tournament, but like it's preparation for the World Cup. And we just lost 2 years of prep because Greg now, and if he doesn't get sacked, oh my word, that is absolutely insane. But like,
it's
if
unreal.
He gets sacked now, we have to rebuild in 2 years. Where instead, when he was first hired, that should have been the start of it right there, of a 4-year process in Copa and in the World Cup.
Say it enough. A joke of a group to get through, like a joke of a group to get through. Like 10 man against Panama, we should still win that game. France still wins that game. Brazil still wins that game. Uruguay still wins that game. We should be winning those games. Like we had a joke of a group to where we should have been in the semis or straight into the semifinals and or quarterfinals and been like, all right, we're good. But nope, like we just wasted all away.
The takes that I didn't like from some of those cats who continue to have terrible takes, but on the American media, Lexi Lawless especially, total idiot. We hate the guy. He made a point that I had been denying. The 2010 World Cup United States men's team beats the current team 6-0 because they wanted it. They wanted it. They had 8 or so players in the MLS. I don't give a shit where these guys play anymore. I want them to go out and have some fucking respect for the
Landon
badge.
and Clint just having the like rivalry and just wanting to outshine the other. Yeah,
They were not friends. I don't want this team to be friends anymore. I want them to have Mamba mentality, and I want them to get to the top via competition with themselves. They've not had that. That's a Berhalter problem. Berhalter has groomed them into being Vibes FC, and Vibes FC gets you nowhere in major tournaments, especially against higher competition. He's got 2 wins, against teams in the top 20 that aren't named Mexico. That's a problem. If you want to do things,
isn't it atrocious?
It's atrocious. With the squad that you have, you need more signature wins. Jesse Marsh has had 6 games with Canada and already has the amount of signature wins that Berhalter's had over 6 years.
Yeah.
We've got nothing to show for it. He's not doing anything going forward. And the fact that it's 6:23 Central Standard Time and he's still the United States men's team coach is a problem with the federation. That's a problem with the federation. Top down, these guys get boners over reviews. We're going to review the performance. We're going to review how we looked we're going to review how the team feels about. No, fire him. Fire him and start over and have some mother effing ambition to bring in a coach that also has ambition. I don't doubt Greg Berhalter wants to do well. You don't get hired and think that you're just going to be mediocre and collect a paycheck. We've never had ambition. We've never tried to punch above our weight. So, dude.
I'll say it. And one of the craziest things is like when you look at the 11 or what has been the 11 under the Berhalter era, it's like Timmy Ream's been a staple, and he's 36, fellas. Like, we don't exactly have like a number one, number two, just like sitting behind him. Like, CCV is solid. He's a good player. Is he one of the best center backs like in the world? No. We still don't have a 9 as Balogun. We still have all these problems that we have to solve, like with or without Berhalter. So that's why, like, this move by U.S. Soccer is going to, like, I don't know if I want to say define like their entire history, but like this is the biggest decision they've ever made with the 2026 World Cup
They
coming
also
up.
put themselves in this situation, though.
Yeah. 1,000%. But now my concern is I think they're going to have to overcorrect. They're going to have to try to go get a Jurgen Klopp. They're going to have to try to make some sort of big move if they're smart, just because they're going to have to save their own ass because they've created this mess. But it's one of those, it's like we've seen time and time again, they're not exactly the people that we trust to just get us out of it. So
the American Outlaws, who, in my mind are just an absolute puppet of the Federation in itself and have never taken stance on anything very aggressively, they're calling for Berhalter out. I genuinely think, and I hope to God I'm wrong, I think they're just waiting for the controversy to blow over and just keep him as coach really quietly and move on about their days. And I think they're going to find out what Americans really feel like about underperforming, which is we don't like that shit. We want to win the Olympics. We want to win everything in the Olympics. We want to compete with the world and do better than everybody. That's just the mentality that we have and we feel we should be. We're talking about, the ability, the size of Uruguay versus the size of the United States. It's because they have top-down football. It's because these kids play every day in the streets and they have organized programs to bring them out of harsh areas to be able to grow talent. We don't have that. You pay thousands of dollars a year. We can get further and further and further into the pay-to-play system.
We get so deep in this, and it's an organization problem. We all know it, and it's not going to get better anytime soon. And to be fair, I think our talent has been pulling us for a long time because our organization problems are so atrocious.
These kids that are playing now, and they're not kids anymore. They used to be kids. We used to be the youngest team in the world, and all of them went to Europe. All of them went to Europe. They've got that now.
Better.
They got better.
Better.
We're not. There's how many. Tyler Adams was in the New York Red Bulls MLS system for a while. He got out. Like we're not talking about guys
way better.
Got way better. We're not talking about guys that have come up and gone through the MLS program. But maybe there's a couple that want it more, like Diego Luna. Guys like that. Like who's the guy that just switched his allegiance to the United States that plays for Cincy? Is it Lucho or Hernandez? Yeah, he's like making himself available for the United States men's team. That's a guy that we could maybe use some experience. He's not super young, but he's a baller. Like we need a shake up, top to bottom, federation, club, country, coach, squad. It's just got to be done better. It's just got to get shaken up. And I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're going to keep Berhalter, frankly.
Kind of side thing. The only reason I know this is because of Chelsea, but the women's national team just hired like the Chelsea legend women's coach who's like brought them many titles. I'm hoping she can have an impact on the organization and bring some that perspective of like English football. I know it's not saying much because she's the women's national coach and I don't know how much pull she'll have in the federation, but hopefully it's a turn for the better and it will put us in the right direction.
Yeah. So wrapping out the Copa America, we watched Jesse Marsch get a 1-1 victory in pens over Venezuela, and they will be playing Argentina in the semifinal.
We're talking about passion and work ethic.
Yeah, dude.
I'm all aboard Canada winning. Canada's not Mexico to me. It's no like CONCACAF rivalry with them. This is more so because I think we all saw a path for Jesse Marsch to be coaching the U.S. men's national team in the Copa America right now, and he probably should be. And instead, he's taken a much worse talent-wise team and played way better. So yeah, I think I want Canada to win.
Yeah, I do too. And it pains me to say that because I do feel a little bit of a rivalry because I don't want Canada to ever get bigger in their britches and think that they can, just walk around on the Gold Cup and it, be a lock for them. But good for Jesse Marsh. It's good for American coaches. His success is positive, I think, for what coaches can bring as an American. And on the flip side, Uruguay beats Brazil. Colombia absolutely throttles Panama. Could have been us. We could have gotten throttled by Colombia. I would have been fine with
Colombia
it.
also looks incredible right now.
Colombia's balling.
Very nice footy.
I'm really excited to see that game.
James just turns back the clock when that Colombia jersey goes on.
Yeah, dude. He's a Xherdan Shaqiri-esque type player. Got first ever MLS player to score in the Euro. And he sucks on Chicago. He is terrible. James is seriously rolling back the clock. His deliveries, dude, have just been just disgusting.
I will say that the Copa, in my opinion, has been because it's so much different than the Euro, but it's been just like it just shows how different like footy is. It's like the Copa when the South American countries play. It's a full-blown war. Literally, the field is a war zone, and I love every second of it. And then you watch the Euros, and it's like tactical, like breakdowns, and it's been a great just balance of the two.
I completely agree. And then we get to watch MLS.
my dad has texted me that 2 weeks in a row now after watching games in the morning. Been like, I can't watch this shit, man. Like I can't watch.
So. Yeah, the Copa, I agree. Actually, I've had a friend, shout out Evan Morris, who not a seasoned footy watcher, but has something of a sports gambler. I think he would agree with. And we've been pinging bets back and forth on each other. He said himself, he's like, dude, the individual talent out of the Copa America has been so much fun to watch. These guys are just better on the ball, and sometimes they get absolutely swept on a slide tackle because they're that much better on a ball. So the challenges are so much heavier, and it is.
They take people on more in the Copa. Like we were saying before.
I love it.
Oh, awesome.
The tweet that I remind that comes up a bunch, and it's like the Euro, and it's like Pep's tactics of switching positions and total football and pass here, and then it was two babies fighting for the Copa America, like with a hammer.
Yeah,
that's the best representation of it. It was so accurate.
And then throw in corrupt referees, and then you got it.
Oh, just bad across the board, miserable refereeing. But yeah, that's exciting. July 9th, July 10th, Argentina, Canada, Colombia, Uruguay. Those are going to be some really fun games. I'm really looking forward to those.
I'm actually looking forward to both of those.
Me too. So the Euro. Where do we start here? I've got some. Let me pull up the outline again. Portugal.
I mean,
Let's start with Portugal.
What?
But what were you going for?
I was going to say we're on the sack train. Can we just go immediately into another coach that I think?
Let's do England. All right. So the guy who Nick once sacked just got his country to a major championship semifinal. While I don't disagree.
Are you about to disagree with me right now, Hoover?
I tell you what, Greg Berhalter doesn't get fired if we get to the semifinal of the Copa. I know that.
That was what I was going to lead with. Like, similarly, how we were just talking about how beneficial it was. Like, I truly feel bad for this England side because they have the easiest route to the final, and they're able to barely make it past these teams and in these games. And it is saving Southgate's job. He should have been fired out in stages. He is so bad.
If they get it done, nobody's going to be like, oh, they beat Switzerland in pens. Oh, they barely squeaked out of the group. Nobody's going to give a fuck.
But do you think they're going to do it? I don't think they are. They're going to get smoked by whoever in the final, I think.
I honestly, it's kind of been one of those where I've enjoyed watching England because since Kobe's been in the team the last two games, and obviously he's just been fucking unbelievable.
Playing
but
well.
They still, it's just that like when I watch Switzerland, I would say overall Switzerland was probably the better team in that game, just at least in terms of better on the ball. But I do think one of the things that England has is just like match winners. They just have It's kind of one of those where I've seen a ton of I've listened to a ton of English podcasts over the past week, just listening to the reactions to the 11 reactions to the game, and so many of them have just said that we're a team of moments, to where we have guys, a Jude Bellingham moment, a Bukayo Saka moment, to where if you need a goal, if you basically pick out anybody in their front 4 or 5, you're they can, on a dime, we cannot be in the game and they can make something happen. And that's just been England. They haven't looked great. They've squeaked along, but at the same time, would anybody be surprised if they beat the Netherlands? I don't think so. And I think that's one of those things where the English fans are spoiled, and because they do have such much, this abundance of talent, they're expected to play better. We do expect them all to play better. At the same time, they're in a semifinal again.
Yeah.
Again, they're in a semifinal. So it's
path and who they're playing.
But brother, do you know what? Nobody's going to care in 50 years from now.
I agree with that statement 100%. I agree with that. But that doesn't mean the guy's not a shit coach. It shouldn't be.
No. 100%. 100%.
They didn't pick their path either. You played a team that is set up in front of you. And again, I agree. If it was again, as a Slovakia and a Swiss better
for Switzerland and 0.6 for England.
Brother, it doesn't matter. When England fans saw that beer went up as fast as it could. They couldn't care if they had no team.
I 100% agree with what you're saying there. But it was atrocious. How can you as a fan not watch that and just to be fair, I see it moving. I do see a lot more England fans saying that Southgate's bad, but I also do still see what Dobes is saying as far as we're gonna keep riding this train until it fucking breaks. So
yeah, but what can you do?
I'll be honest, fellas. I this is very biased, and I'm okay with that. Until Manu started playing, I wanted him to get bounced, but now I think it would be so sick if Kobe made it at 19, started in a Euro final, and won. So it's kind of to be honest, out of these 4 teams, I don't really I don't have a favorite. But now
this bias has literally the entire time has just been tingent on Manchester United.
So is mine.
I need. He was they're healthy. I'm fucking so happy. I don't give a fuck. All hell.
Mine is completely biased. I need them to get bounced because this is the first time in 40 years that there's not a Tottenham player on a Euro English team. I need them to get bounced. If it comes home, we are never beating the allegations, brother. Never. I need a Mickey Van de Ven winner against them in the 80th minute. Who I am shocked he's not starting at this point. He has been so good, and when he's come on for them, he has balled.
Yeah, I am mind blown by that one as well.
The Netherlands were my dark horse. I picked Portugal as my favorite because we saw this, 3-game run with Ronaldo looking like he's willing to pass to teammates, and then they didn't score a goal in the round of 16. They 0-0 pens.
Their entire game,
and then 0-0 pens
on the pitch.
So
most frustrating thing is because I truthfully think. I mean this. If they would have brought Ronaldo on in the 75th or 80th minute every single game, I think Portugal wins the tournament.
100%. If Jota starts and Ronaldo comes off the bench, they are a way better team.
They have so many dogs on that team that were so limited by him. And honestly, it's kind of sad. It really is sad because it's it wasn't just a drop off. It was he fell off a cliff to where we've seen Ronaldo score or do something, but he fell off a cliff to where the fact that they subbed Bruno Fernandes out too was one, I was happy he's healthy, but what the fuck are you doing, man?
Yeah.
What are you doing? The guy's created 4 changes before that.
You leave Ronaldo on.
I don't know. That was another one. I wanted Portugal to win because Bruno's on the team. So I'm very biased.
Ronaldo was so good for so long because of his physicality and what he brought in that aspect of the game, and I think as age goes, that is what goes first, and I think we're seeing that.
I also think it's when you look at, and this is obviously that France knocked out Portugal, but when you look at Upamecano and Saliba
is unbelievable.
Ronaldo hasn't gone up against those 2 caliber of center backs in how long. They ate him up Saliba and Upamecano were big dudes that Ronaldo's physicality ain't doing anything to them. I texted Griff during I think it was the 60th minute. I was like, dude, Ronaldo might as well call Saliba his dad because it's getting embarrassing.
Yeah, but think about that. Prime Ronaldo, we're never saying that.
Oh, never.
No.
Never. But I think that's one of those two where, like, if you bring him on in the 70th minute and you need a goal or you're trying to win a game, like, you bring
There's
him
a
on
flash.
to play extra time and hit a pen. That almost makes too much sense. Like,
Guys contributed nothing for at least the last 2 games.
Yeah.
and France didn't deserve to go through.
No.
I
France
agree with
did
that.
not deserve to go through.
God, you want to talk about another team that's just been an absolute snooze fest. Those guys have just sucked. But here we are again. You know, like it's
Hernandez has been balling. I think he's fun
I
to watch.
love that guy. I
Yeah,
love
I
Teo
like watching him
Hernandez.
play. Also, bias. I love watching Conte ball. He's playing very well.
Dude, he's so back. Like it's
He's
so much fun to watch him do
freaking
what he's
good.
done
It's
for forever.
unbelievable.
I think it's like 30 something games in a row or 20 something. It's above 20, I know for sure. Games that he started for France that they haven't lost in.
Yeah. Well, I remember the stat that I told you guys forever, and I clung to it. Him and Pogba have never lost a game as a starting partnership in center mid for France.
Huh. Well, maybe when Pogba's done with his doping ban, we may get to see that again, but probably not.
He's currently unbeaten in 20 games with France at major tournaments, 13 wins, 7 draws, 0 defeats.
He's also I'm pretty sure, is it undefeated in final?
I don't
know. Spain takes down Germany. I felt Germany was unlucky. I thought they were the better team, but I also have a hard time denying how slick Spain is.
Yeah, I was about to say, as much as I like Butchie wanted to not see them do well, but they're actually playing very well. I will say bad for Spain with Pedri's injury. Hopefully he's okay, but like that sucks. That's not someone.
I don't know how Toni Kroos didn't get a red card.
That shocked me.
Yellows in that game.
And
that must have been the home country, probably his last game ever. Like, we're not going to give him a red card.
They didn't get a handball either.
I'm liking the way Kuka's playing as well.
Yeah, well, he should have probably had a handball and a pen, but whatever.
Pedri came out in the 8th minute, and then Olmo came on. I think he was the man of the match.
Dude, has been balling. He's been so good. The Netherlands take down Turkey as well, and in a comeback, in quite the comeback fashion. And there's some late game dramatic situations there too. We got a Mickey Van de Ven clearance off the line. Turkey won. I like to give a shout out to Turkey because they have been one of the most fun teams to watch at the 100%. Euro. Arda Güler's absolute screamer in the group stage. They've just been surrounded. I guess there's like hundreds of thousands of Turkish nationals living in Germany. They've been packing every single stadium. It's been a home game for them every time. And then Dutch fans are just as psychotic. So I think that had to have helped them out there. But they could not hold off the attacking power there. Gakpo's been great. Gakpo's been awesome.
People are questioning Klopp. Can he get the best out of his players?
Way better than Nunez. Oh man, I look crazy when I said it, but fucking shit.
So those games, July 9th, July 10th as well. Those stack with the Copa. That's just kind of electric.
I wish they were like
staggered.
Separated.
Any predictions? Like, we got to give a prediction. This comes out tomorrow morning.
I've got Spain.
Yeah, I do too.
I've got Spain. I've got them winning it.
Or winning the whole thing.
I've got Spain winning it.
The whole thing, and they're playing. I think they're going to play Netherlands. I think Netherlands takes out England.
As a guy who's bet against England in every single match that they've played in this tournament, I also think that it's going to be Netherlands. Something has to give. It can't be. They can't keep getting away with this.
Literally, that's how I feel. Like
they cannot. No, my note on the outline says England doing the absolute least to get through these matches, and
literally what they're doing.
And that's what I think. I just think I think Spain's too good. They've had too good of a tournament. They're in the best form.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to look at the suspensions. That's what I'm trying to do.
Oh yeah,
that's huge. Okay.
Because this has Navas. Well, what I'm thinking is this has Navas starting it right back for Spain, and that's torch.
Am I crazy with this stadium?
He's still around.
I really want to know. Would you guys start Cole Palmer over Saka?
No.
You really wouldn't?
No.
Before
Saka's been England's best player.
I think before the Switzerland game,
I was
I
about
don't
to
think
say,
you have a
before
wild take.
Switzerland, he was a ghost.
I don't think that was a wild take. But
Saka's been better than Foden. Like, you drop Foden before you drop Saka,
which they won't do. But I agree. At some capacity, you got to have Cole Palmer on the pitch because he has been a bright spot for them every time he's come on.
Every single time he gets on the pitch, he is impacted the game.
I'm with you. But
I'm going to go, it's going to be a France-England final.
I could see it too, which is wild.
To me, dude, it's one of those things. It's exactly what you guys like keep saying. It's like France hasn't been good, but like here they are. Like Mbappe hasn't been Mbappe yet.
And you can see an Mbappe hat trick, like
easily. Easily. It's not like we're sitting here. I'm looking at Spain's midfield, and obviously Pedri's out, but Olmo come in and Rees and Rodri. But it's like Conte, Chouamini, Camavinga, Rabiot. It's like, well, we're apples and oranges here, fellas.
Dude, Camavinga was so good. So good.
He's so versatile. It's unbelievable.
Block off the word calendars, fellas.
Yeah, those are going to be electric. I'm going to close out with a factor cap for the day.
Sure.
Brought to you by Shauno, who could not make the pod today. We got to get this guy an iOS update or something. OG Mecca Banter podcast contributor. He had a bone to pick with my man, Mr. Inevitable, Harry Kane. And his bone to pick was extremely fair. We had a very high level conversation about Mr. Inevitable, Harry Kane, Skechers himself.
Worst commercial of all time.
Worst commercial of all time. He has negative aura. This guy,
but hey.
Dude, he is so lame. He's so lame. I'm just begging for him to be cooler than he is, and he's not. If he's not 100% healthy, which, again, I have a personal gripe with Pochettino for playing a 60% Harry Kane in a Champions League final, but that's a whole different thing. If he's not 100% healthy, we're talking 80%. Maybe he has a cold or something, or maybe he's got a little niggle on his ankle or something like that. Do you think Harry Kane starts the semifinal?
Do I think, or would I have him start?
Do you think Harry Kane should start the semifinal, healthy or not?
No. Put in my boy Ivan Toney. That man showed more aura and confidence in that one pen that I've seen Harry Kane do for an entire Euro tournament.
Dobes?
I don't. He's going to start without a doubt.
I know he's going to start 100%.
It's just so tough because it so much requires the players around him. Like if he does end up playing Gordon, or you know what I mean, like
he's
switching
in a Manchester City system, man. He's not.
He's not going to be an option. But I do like Ivan Toney. I think Ivan Toney's just chaos. I mean, when you look at, it's going to be De Vrij, who's been phenomenal, and Virgil. It's like it's no easy task for anybody. I mean, maybe Ivan Toney makes sense. You stretch the defense and make Virgil have to turn around and run it behind versus keep everything in front of him. Kane's going to play, but I don't think he should play.
Yeah, I'm willing to accept that, especially if in the situation he came off, he did not look good, and you also don't pull off Harry Kane in a potential penalty shootout with his track record. So I think if he's not healthy, I don't think he should start at all. I think if he's 100% fit, it's a no-brainer. Shauno's gripe was his desire, his work output. We have not seen him make runs behind the defense. We have not seen him track back as much as he typically does to receive the ball deep. He's been shifting from right center back to left center back depending on what side of the ball the field's on. Now, do I think that's a Southgate thing? Maybe partially. I think Harry Kane,
like Erling Haaland a little bit. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're levels. There's levels to this. Relax on that. But I didn't argue that. I think his work rate could very possibly become from an injury, but he's not. He's not looked the same, and he had the exact same point about Jude. But again, we're talking about England, the team of moments. And if Jude's not on the pitch against Slovakia, you're not going on to the next round. And same with Harry Kane. If Harry Kane's not on the pitch and banging in that back post header, you're not moving on to the next round. Like, it's a team of moments and it's a team of individual quality. But as a system, he has not looked up to it. He has not been contributing. I had him as my player of the tournament if England did well. And England, I guess, has done well. And he's not even the player on their team that's done the best. And I frankly don't know who I would pick
I was about to say,
for that to be.
just thinking about that, who would that be?
Yeah.
What's so funny, fellas, is I'm looking right now, just because I wanted to look it up just from my own knowledge. I looked up the England versus France World Cup semifinal lineup, and it's obviously not exactly the same, but it's Walker, Stones, Maguire, Shaw. I mean, basically probably what it would be, except you toss in Gay when he's back in there. And then it was Henderson, Rice, Bellingham, Saka, Kane, Foden. Kane scored twice. So I don't know what it is, man, because it's not like these guys haven't played together. And he has played well. So it's like, this is a small sample size, but I know he had a good World Cup. So it's like
that just points to me that he's not healthy. Yeah,
I don't know.
But see, if he's not healthy, there's no way he's playing.
Well,
I feel like the talent that they have, and that's
a Southgate thing, man. He's the captain. He's his guy. He's relied on him.
Just like it's up to Harry. Whatever you say goes.
Hey, it was a Pochettino thing in 2019 too. If you have Harry Kane available to play in a match, you play the guy in a match.
Hey,
do you take off
manager no more? Talk shit all you want.
Do you take off Lucas Moura after scoring a hat trick in dramatic fashion against Ajax? No, you don't. You don't do that. Even if he's back and is 60% fit. Virgil van Dijk came out after the game and said, this is the worst version of Harry Kane that I'd ever played. So as a manager, you want 100% fitness from 100% of your players on the field. And then you sub them on. You look at the Ronaldo thing. You need a goal with 30 minutes left. You're bringing on one of the greatest English goal scorers of all time. Like it's hard to ignore, and it's hard to say that he shouldn't play. But I agree. I don't think if he's 100% fit, Tony's going to give you a harder 70 minutes. He's going to make runs in behind. And like I said again with Cole Palmer last week, he may not have all the same instructions. Like Cole Palmer could be given instructions by Southgate. This is his first real run at the English team. He may just be like, nah, I'm going to take this guy on instead of, pass it back like whatever Gareth wants me to do.
Like out the other call.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Tony. Oh, yeah, I think Tony's the exact same way, and Harry Kane's going to work a system that's asked of him. And if it doesn't work, he'll have words with the manager, I'm sure, but, it's not been his tournament. I think there's a real shout for Tony to start. I don't think it'll happen.
What a pen.
What a pen. Yeah.
All five of their pens were so class.
No way around it.
They have just, that's what I mean, match winners. All five of those guys step up. Ivan Toney, the no look is so
He had more aura in that 5-second span than Harry Kane has in his entire life.
And then the broadcast cuts to a Skechers commercial with Harry Kane and Snoop Dogg. Like those boots must be comfortable, bro. I promise you they are, but they are not cool. They are not cool. All right, well, lads, I think that wraps us up for the day. Spirited debates here today. I've enjoyed this one. Always a good time hopping in the booth and chatting footy with you guys.
Sack them all.
Berhalter, Southgate, probably the Portugal coach.
Also, we're moving. I'm 99% sure that Man United plays a game in 8 days. So we are moving towards preseason rapidly in the Premier League.
I get to see a bunch of youngster
Brazilian kids that we've never heard of in our life.
And apparently they're the next Messi, but hey, we'll see.
Everyone says the same thing.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I feel like I've watched the same video 8 million times.
All right, lads. Appreciate it. Thanks for listening if you got this far. Peace from the Mecca lads.
Cheers.
Cheers.